we had the trade deadline, and there was definitely some moves that were made. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and start this one off at the top, man. The San Francisco 49ers got defensive tackle Khalil Davis from the Houston Texans for a 2026 seventh-round pick. I think I like the move for the 49ers, man. I think they're realizing what they're going to be. They're getting McCaffrey back coming, and I think they want to shore up that defense a little bit because they want to make that playoff run. And their division is actually very competitive. They're actually not winning, which is kind of weird that the Arizona Cardinals are on top of that one right now, which I don't think anybody really saw coming, maybe outside of Arizona. But I think it's a good move for them to go ahead. You can never have too many guys, and they got it for a steal.
Yep, no, I agree. Dude, and you said it perfectly, the division, right? You got the Seattle Seahawks with Walker out there that's going bananas this year. You got the Cardinals with James Conner that he's going crazy too. And then you got the Rams with Kyron Williams that he's been back-to-back years going insane. So it's like you need to bring in a defensive tackle to try to stop that run, because if not, you're going to be losing those divisional games. And like you said, Arizona's on top right now. No one ever thought Arizona was going to be on top or how tight this race was going to be. Everybody thought the Niners were just going to breeze past everybody. Yeah, that's not the case. And if they want to win the division, they're going to have to stop the run against their divisional opponent.
Yep. Yeah. Got stout where it counts.
I agree. And when we're done with all these trades ahead, we'll go back over, kind of like make our assessments, our grades on these ones. But we're just going to go breeze through these first so we can get to that real quick. Next up, we have another really good trade for your boys here, T-Mike, man. I know you're really excited about this one here. Tre'Davious White comes over from Baltimore to the Baltimore receives Tre'Davious White for a 2027 seventh-round pick for a 2026 sixth-round pick. I like the move here too, man. I think it makes a lot of sense. They're a contender, and they're ready to finally make some moves. And their defense hasn't been what it's been in the past, especially in the passing game, which is kind of rare for the Baltimore Ravens. So, Mike, man, I know you've been rooting for these guys a lot in the AFC. I know it's not your team, but I mean you've been high on, man. What do you think?
No, definitely. I love it for them, and especially that the secondary has been injured. You bring in Tre'Davious White, that he's been known to shut down top receivers or make it a little troublesome for them. So I like it for the Ravens. They're trying to make a Super Bowl run, but it all relies on what they're going to do with their run game. Because if they stop running the ball, they ain't going to go nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, I think we've heard that one before.
Yep. I mean, that defense has been pretty suspect all year. So at this point, you just you take whatever you can get.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Baltimore is definitely looking good. They also made that move earlier in the week as well. We're just going over just what happened at the deadline here, but they also made the move for Deontay Johnson, getting him. So I think they're making moves, man. So we're moving on, man. So Preston Smith is going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Green Bay will receive a 2025 pick, and the receivers will The Pittsburgh Steelers will receive Preston Smith, and they will get Green Bay will get a seventh-round pick. That's not all for the Green Bay Packers, man. Green Bay Packers, wow, I'm fucking this one up. Sorry.
Take your time, baby. Take your time.
Steelers. Excuse me. Woo. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back onto focus here. The Pittsburgh Steelers made another move by getting Mike Williams from the New York Jets, and they got him for a fifth-round pick. Steelers making two big moves. They are right in that division, and I like it because they've been trying to go after any name wide receiver. I think they were trying to shoot for a little bit, obviously, higher caliber one. But Mike Williams, if he can stay healthy as the number two, he's definitely not a one. But if he can stay as healthy as a two, he can definitely stretch the field, and that's something they need right now, big time, man. You can't rely on George Pickens making one-legged catches all the time.
For sure, that's the move that I wanted. That's the move I wanted the Bucs to make. But we can't all get what we want.
Yeah, Mike, you like this move or what?
No, I love the move, and it's crazy to say that in the beginning, I would say 2 out of 3 of us in here didn't think the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to do anything, and I will take fault on that. And now it looks like they really think that they're going to make a Super Bowl run, which is why they bring in Preston Williams and why they bring in Preston Smith and why they bring in Mike Williams, because they're like, yo, we're trying to win right now. We got to get some weapons on defense and offense. Yep. dude. Yep. And that's exactly what they did.
I love the unwavering confidence of the Steelers too. I made a joke and said I thought they could make it, and we all laughed about it. And they believe it, and that's all that matters. They're the ones that believe it, and they are right there. You know,
mode activate.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty cool for the Steelers, man. All right, so this is one of the bigger moves of the trade deadline, man. The Washington Commanders they're in win now mode as well. The Washington Commanders are going to get Marshawn Lattimore and a 2025 fifth-round pick. New Orleans here, finally they're starting that reset button here. New Orleans will receive a 2025 third, a 2025 fifth, and a 2025 sixth-round pick. I think this was a great move for the Washington Commanders. Honestly, this is my favorite move. Actually, yeah, I think it's my favorite move of the day, though there's another one that I really liked a lot, but this is a major deal because the Washington Commanders, their secondary has been kind of suspect. That's been one of the things that you should be able to get, but I like the move on that one. G Mike, what you thought?
I love the move for it. I mean, fuck the commies. But just speaking as a football analyst, bro, that's great for them because their secondary has been horrible. And Marshawn Lattimore, you already know BC with Mike Evans, you already know he be a shutdown corner sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe not against Mike Evans. Maybe not against Mike Evans because Mike Evans is just the truth. First ballot Hall of Famer, but Marshawn Lattimore does it to a lot of.
Oh, here we go. I think he's Hall of Famer
for sure.
Yeah.
No, and
I was just saying not a Hall of Famer. Sorry, I was like, come on.
No. I think he is. I think he is.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That was my fault.
No. I mean, and that aside, but it's a great move for Washington. You got a young team. They need some veteran presence back there in the secondary. It's a great move, and it takes them out of my division. So I'm happy with that.
And he puts them into mine.
Exactly. He's your problem now, not mine.
I mean, my team sucks anyway, so it's already back to the
speaking of the Dallas Cowboys made a huge move. They signed Jonathan Mingo for a ham and turkey sandwich and
huge as in a peanut. Huge as in a peanut.
No, so the Dallas Cowboys got Jonathan Mingo for a 2025 seventh-round pick, and the Cardinals will get a 2025 fifth-round pick from the Dallas Cowboys. G Mike, I was trying to refrain, man, but you got to sometimes, man. Jonathan Mingo, I mean, what the hell?
Trash. The Kansas City Chiefs get DeAndre Hopkins for a fifth-round pick, and we get this guy for a fourth-round pick. Make it make sense. It make sense.
Right, and I think the weirdest part of the move too is that was. We talked about it earlier that they need wide receivers. We talked about the preseason, but like at this point in time when Cooper Rush is going to be your starter for at least 4 weeks, the season is at that point to where you have to kind of figure out if you're actually competing or not. Why go after this whenever you possibly could have got a backup running back or just any kind of running back? Like you were saying too, your defense is off. I just didn't get the necessity of going after Jonathan Mingo. No. Maybe he was good because Carolina wasn't using him, and maybe he's going to be a solid 2. But you already have a 1. Yet the move made no sense to me at all. Why they would do this one?
Because CeeDee Lamb got hurt. Brandon Cooks is still in IR. I don't think he's going to come back this week. So we're short on receivers. So we need to bring in somebody. But again, why do we get Jonathan Mingo for a fucking fifth-round pick when DeAndre Hopkins is out there for a fourth-round pick?
Right.
I'm sorry, the other way around, for fourth and fifth. You know what I meant.
Yeah.
Yo, Cowboys gonna Cowboys. Just saying.
I was gonna fucking Cowboys, bro, and I gotta fucking be a fan of these motherfuckers.
So I take it you're not thrilled with the pick. So we'll move on. All right, so this one was a really cool pick too, man. The Detroit Lions.
That one's fire.
Yeah. This is a really good one, man. The Detroit Lions receive Zendarius Smith and a 2026 seventh-round pick. Cleveland will get a 2025 fifth and a 2026 sixth. This one and the Lattimore move to me are the big ones of the day that make total sense. And they're both going to teams that needed the positions and are contenders right now. So this is when it makes sense to go after a veteran, a guy that can definitely go for it. And I love the fact that Detroit realizes that they are arguably the best team in football besides maybe the Chiefs. You can put them 1, 2, or 3, whatever the hell you want to, but the Detroit Lions are up there, and you're going to require a guy that's a veteran that still's got it.
Yep. Exactly. And he's not going to be a replacement for Aiden Hutchinson long term. It's just going to be a short-term fix. And I mean, if you can maybe get him back next year, get some depth, that's great. But this is what a like trade deadline pick is supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, exactly. Definitely. You need a trade for your necessity to try to get into the playoffs or try to go long in the playoffs or try to get to the Super Bowl and be contenders. And this is what the Lions are doing, because right now they have my pick of coming out the NFC and going to the Super Bowl. Bringing in a defensive lineman like him is just going to up their status. They lose Hutchinson for the rest of the year and maybe even going on to next year to the half of it just because of his injury and how bad it is and how fast he recovers from it. But you bring in a defensive lineman like this is just going to help your chances for sure.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I think so. There's one more. There was a couple of more smaller trades, but I think those ones are the main talking points for the NFL in there. So let's go ahead and go over it, guys. What's your favorite one in there? Is it the Zeri Smith one, or Lattimore, or Jonathan Mingo, or?
I like Smith just because I think that it's the best move for the biggest team. Like, obviously the Commanders getting Lattimore is huge. But I think that in terms of contending, I definitely put Detroit above everybody in this one. So I think that them getting Smith, especially with the need that they had, it's the perfect fit, and I love it.
Yeah, I think Detroit definitely has more of a chance than anybody else to get to the Super Bowl and win it all, really. But I do like the one with the Ravens. I'm gonna be a little biased there.
Tre'Davious
White, yeah, he could just help out that secondary tremendously. Marshawn Lattimore, he's gonna do good for the commies as well. And then I really like the ones for the Steelers too, man, because they really went. I'm not gonna say all out, but they really pulled the trigger, and they're like, "Yo, man, we're trying to make a run too." So, but what I really want to mention is that, I think this trade deadline has been one of the best in the last 10 years. It's been crazy. A lot of them, a lot of moves, and a lot of great moves with great stars. So.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, the NFL is definitely a different trade deadline than per se the NBA. The NBA and baseball are pretty popular. The NBA always just has so many rumors because the players are just you see them all the time. They don't wear helmets. You can see them. It seems like they interact a lot more. So there's always trade rumors going on with the NBA. But yeah, I agree. I think this was one of the ones that made a lot of sense. I don't think there was very many blockbuster deals besides maybe the Lattimore deal. As far as picks goes, that's kind of a blockbuster deal for the Saints to kind of restart over. But I think this one made a lot of sense for teams that are trying to compete. So I like the Lattimore deal, and I like the Zendarius Smith. How ironic too is Zendarius Smith and Preston Smith got traded in the same day whenever they used to be with Green Bay and be the Smith brothers, whatever. So kind of ironic, But yeah, no, I guess I kind of think I'm gonna go. Man, I want to go Lattimore, but I've got to be biased and pick I want to go both. I got to do it, man. I like the Zendarius Smith and Lattimore trade, man. I think it both makes so much sense for the teams. I really like where Washington's at. I'm becoming a slight Washington fan just because of Jaden Daniels and how they're playing. I really like the way they're playing.
Nah, dude.
Yep.
Nah. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I just have to defend the fact that I gave them a chance. That's all, So.
Yep.
I like Jaden Daniels, don't get me wrong. And I like Terry McLaurin for sure. I like Brian Robertson, but fuck the commies.